Fortune 500 companies have these type of programs, workplace drug programs, but the small companies don't. Why is that?
Well, what happens, over 90% of our Fortune 500 companies currently have a drug prevention program in place with an employee assistance program. So now that these larger companies have programs, the drug abusing community have no other place to go but down to the small and moderate-sized employers. And the small and moderate-sized employers just don't have the financial resources to have these big blown-out programs like the Fortune 500 companies do. That's why we have our programs set up, which are economically sound and very inexpensive and very easy to implement for a small to medium-sized company.
So any workers at high-risk situation, drivers of any kind, of course,
yes,
they can be randomly drug tested.
That's correct.
Period.
Period.
And it's not a problem.
Not a problem. There's no violation of any constitutional rule or regulation or law here in California.
You know, there's a lot of workman's comp cases. People that'll take 2 weeks off, 2 months off.
Yes.
And one of the things that we talked about off camera and a little bit on camera is that one of the things that you said went down when you implemented a CalTest at an employee site was that all of a sudden people stopped getting injured all the time, and people stopped taking more time off, or the slip and fall, that these things went away.
Yes.
And also crime went away.
Yes.
Because they knew they had to go through a drug test.
Yep. The major benefit to this is post-accident testing. If an employer has a post-accident testing program in place at their company, if an employee gets involved in a work-related accident, he knows he's going to be subject to post-accident testing following that accident.
So they have to take a drug test.
So they know they're going to have to take a drug test.
So if somebody gets hurt, a mechanic gets hurt, that has you as the testing person, if they get hurt, they now don't just have to go to the urgent care that is assigned to them, but they have to get a drug test.
That's correct.
So you think these people that are using drugs, using marijuana, are being a little more careful on the job?
They're being a little bit more careful on the job and what they're doing on the job, which is a benefit to everybody involved. And two, if they're abusing drugs, they're less likely to file a fraudulent claim against the employer.
In fact, I could imagine where they would get hurt and wouldn't want to file at all, just to keep their job.
Well, I wouldn't want to encourage that, because if they did get injured on the job, we definitely want them to seek medical treatment through the workers' comp carrier. But if they're thinking about filing a fraudulent claim, this helps discourage those fraudulent claims.
I could see why the Fortune 500 companies have this in place all the time.
Yes.
So the small companies need to get involved.
Yes, they do. And it's so cheap to get involved.
I mean, $45, you pay $45 per test. Is that right?
That's correct.
And that's it.
That's it.
And you handle the paperwork. You show up on site with a meeting. You get the employees all on the same page as far as what a positive this is for them.
Exactly.